All right, so welcome to Crime 411. Again, I just want to remind people that our content is not suitable for young audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. Today, we are going to be talking about Gannon Stauch, and unfortunately, they announced this morning that the search for Gannon has been suspended in southern Douglas County. Gannon has been missing for 3 weeks since January 27th. He is 11 years old, and for those of you who are not familiar with Gannon's case, he was reported missing by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch, on January 27th. She told El Paso County Sheriff's Office that he left home between 3:15 and 4 o'clock p.m., local time for Colorado, to walk to an unknown friend's house and that he had not been seen since. We now know that that's not true, but I'll get to that in just a moment. The initial press release had described the call as a report for a juvenile runaway. Not sure if that is something that they default to, if they don't have maybe a vehicle or a suspect description or something like that, or it could have been the way that it was called in by Tisha, but the call was reported and described as a report for a juvenile runaway. So let's take a few steps back here and let's go over what stepmom said happened leading up to Gannon's disappearance. So she stated that on Sunday that she and Gannon and his sister had gone for a hike at Garden of the Gods. For those of you not familiar, it is a very touristy area. There's people around all the time. And she did have a picture with her and Gannon hiking, in which a picture of a man wearing a blue coat was captured in the background. And he has since come forward and said that, yes, he did in fact see Gannon that day hiking at Garden of the Gods. So we do know that he was there. She states that after the hike that Gannon had a stomach ache. And she initially said that they went to Burger King to eat, but changed her story and changed it to Gannon didn't feel well. So she brought Gannon home, where he stayed with his older stepsister, who had just come home from work, while she went to pick up Burger King for he and the other kids in the house. This is the story. Then she says that on Monday, Gannon stayed home from school because, again, he had a stomach ache, and that she originally said she needed to take him to the doctor. She did not take him to the doctor. She said that instead of doing that, she called to a nurse line of some kind and tried to do some sort of a home remedy for his stomach. And so she changed her story on that. And then she said that around 3:15, 3:30, Gannon sent a text message to his father, who was out of town. He is in the service, I believe, and asked if he could walk to a friend's house. The stepmom claimed she was in the basement working out with headphones on, and she did not see him leave, but knew that he went to go to a friend's house, although she did not know who the friend was and didn't keep up with friends because that was something, according to stepmom, that Gannon's father did. She said she told him to be home by 6 o'clock. And when he didn't come home, that is when she started to grow concerned and called the police that she could not find Gannon. So according to Tisha, stepmom, the last time that Gannon was seen was between 3:15 and 4 o'clock p.m. when he left the residence through a side door, is what she said, to walk to a friend's house. So interesting, right? Because on February the 4th, we find out that that's not true. On February 4th, their neighbor, Roderick Drayton, came forward and he told ABC News that he decided to look through his footage. He has a doorbell camera, and he said he couldn't sleep thinking about Gannon, so he decided to look through these videos to see if he might be able to find anything that would help with the investigation, which it did, because what he found was a video of Gannon entering the pickup truck that belonged to Gannon's father with stepmom at about 10:15 in the morning, and she comes back around 4 hours later without Gannon. That was on the Monday morning that he went missing. So we know that he did get into the truck with stepmom, and 4 hours later she returned without Gannon, by herself. So we know that she lied. Here's a video, a picture of the video here. This is the family pickup truck. And you can actually, if you Google this, you can find this video online. She originally was in the street with the pickup truck and backed into the driveway to pick up Gannon. A lot of folks who have seen this video say that it appears to them that Gannon was limping or in pain, walking slow. Purely speculation. Sometimes kids just don't want to get in the car or go to the store or whatever. But that is what people have said, is that they feel as though he was hurt, and that's why she backed the truck into the driveway to pick him up. Again, that's hearsay, not facts. But he did get into the truck with stepmom at 10:15 that morning, Monday morning, January 27th. And 4 hours later, she returned alone without Gannon. So we do know that she lied about the last time that Gannon was seen. And we do know that she lied about the fact that he had left on foot to walk to a friend's house because he was not home after he left with the stepmother that morning. Ironically enough, once this video came out and people started to speculate that Gannon looked like he was in pain when he was walking, stepmom offered some further information that is concerning, to say the least. We know that according to her that he did have a stomach ache, but she then shared more information and stated that on Saturday night, Gannon was helping her in the garage and he cut his foot because there were tools laying around. According to stepmom, the father does a lot of woodworking, tools were laying around. Gannon cut his foot, to which she had him sit up on the car and bandaged his foot in the garage. So that's interesting because on Sunday they were hiking, right? So did he cut his foot, or is she trying to explain the fact that police might find blood by coming up with some story that he cut his foot the night before they went hiking? We don't know. Again, everything is pure speculation at this point, but we do know that is what she stated happened. She then stated that on Sunday night, and I believe she only addressed this because some screenshots came out with a text message that I don't know if it was from her oldest daughter or what it was, but I know that the text message was related to the fact that Gannon had knocked over a candle and that he was very, I would say the word was scared, that he was going to get in trouble and that he was very sorry. And the message said, Gannon is fine, but he's just very upset or something like that. Why that's relevant is because the Monday morning, January 27th, that Gannon went missing is the same morning that the carpet that was outside of Gannon's bedroom door in the basement needed to be replaced for some reason. That's interesting. First of all, I don't know anybody who can get someone there that fast to change a carpet, for one. For two, she claims that when Gannon knocked the candle over, that it started a fire. I can't say that that's not true, but I would lean toward that being inaccurate. If you've ever had a candle that you've knocked over, what happens? The wax goes over the flame and the candle goes out, right? So my guess is that no, he didn't set the carpet on fire. And again, pure speculation as to why the carpet would need to be replaced so quickly, but we do know that it was replaced sometime that Monday morning, which she has stated and her mother has confirmed, which that's interesting to me. I mean, these are all very, very uneasy coincidences, if you will, when you have an 11-year-old missing child who now the stepmother, after having lied about where he was last seen, is also coming up with a story as to why they might find blood. The whole thing just stinks, right? So the other interesting fact, and if anybody knows what time the text message, oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't a text message, the alleged search on Gannon's phone that his stepmother stated he searched whether or not his parents could find him if his phone was turned off. That was on the Monday that he went missing also. A lot of people are under the impression that he didn't search for that at all and that his stepmother searched for that on his phone to make it look as though he had run away. And I read somewhere on one of the forums on Facebook, and this is a very good point. Most 11-year-old kids don't speak that way. They're not going to Google, can my parents find me if my phone is turned off? They're just going to say, if my phone is turned off, can it be tracked or something like that, right? I would find it unlikely that they would use that terminology, but again, he may have. But the reason I ask if anybody knows what time that alleged search was on his phone is because we now know that he did not return home with stepmom at 2:30. So if it was any time after 2:30, and we know the phone was found in the home, we know he didn't do that search. So I don't know if anybody has that information, but if you do, please let me know because I really would like to know that piece of information. That's been bothering me a lot. Now, I'm sure if anybody with a child or a stepchild who couldn't find their kid would be beside themselves in a panic, pleading for the public to help find him and bring him home, getting on camera and doing everything that they could to bring the child home safely. So it was very interesting when stepmom did a news interview, and this is the way she looked on camera. She wouldn't face the camera. And she states that she was getting death threats and things like that, so she didn't want to put her face out there. But I'm sorry, I'm not buying that because she has been putting her face out there all over social media nonstop, talking about how she's a wonderful person because she raised this boy and trashing his biological mother and all this stuff. So if you're getting death threats and you don't want to be on camera, why are you all over social media? It doesn't make any sense. But anyhow, this interview was so, I would say, typical of a classic sociopath, narcissist type of personality. The entire interview was focused on stepmom. She never once shed a tear for Gannon. She never once said that she was concerned that Gannon would be somewhere hurt or cold or scared, nothing. The only thing that she stated was that her family was getting death threats, that her constitutional rights were infringed upon by police, that they questioned her and they wouldn't even let her get a glass of water or use the bathroom, on and on and on and on and on about poor T as a victim in this situation for, I think it was close to like 10 minutes. Never mentioned Gannon until she said that that she wants Gannon to come home so that people know what really happened, and they apologized to her for accusing her of being involved in his disappearance. I'm sorry, stepmom, but you are not doing yourself any favors, Stop talking. I mean, I'm glad that you're talking. Keep talking, actually, right? Where is Gannon? Can you tell us where Gannon is? Keep talking. Really, come on. But seriously, if you're going to get on camera and talk about yourself when the entire reason that a reporter is there is to focus on the fact that an 11-year-old child is missing, you've got big problems. Another creepy aspect of this video was when she walked over to get her daughter, Harley, her 17-year-old daughter, to which she goes on about how she's in the Air Force and serving her country and has never committed a crime. You know, let's paint this picture of perfection here, right? Because I don't want anybody thinking I did something. But anyhow, she goes and gets Harley, and she basically tells Harley what to say. She basically tells her daughter, I want you to tell them that Gannon was here when you came home from work, that you saw Gannon, he was here, so that there is someone else who can back me up that Gannon was at our house after the hike on Sunday. So the daughter comes over and she basically says, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? And so again, stepmom tells her what to say. And she says it with her back face to the cameras also. And that was it. So the entire interview turned into the Letecia Stauch hour, and she paid absolutely no attention to the fact that her child was missing. That's not normal. That is not normal at all. That doesn't make any sense. Now, another thing that I found disturbing was a conversation that was shared on social media between stepmom and one of the other parents in the neighborhood. And the other parent said something about, what did she say? Something about Gannon wasn't at school today. And she said this happened at 3:30, but she had also responded to someone else about making sure that they knew he was seen after the bus had left that day. That's what it was. They had said, did anybody make sure that he wasn't taken when he got off the bus? Did you know that he got off the bus okay? And she said, we have that covered. Meaning, to me, that sounds like we know that he got off the bus and we saw him after that, right? But then somebody else said, but wait a second. We were told that Gannon wasn't at school today. And then she said, oh, well, this happened after at 3:30. And then she said, I needed to take him to the doctor for his stomach, which then changed into, I didn't take him to the doctor, I just called the nurse line. So as people are talking with her and raising facts about the situation that they know, that she's unaware of the fact that they know, her story starts changing, right? And from that moment on, she's been suspect, and, speculation has been flying around like crazy on social media, all over the internet, on the news, and, rightfully so. She's the last person to see him. She left with him in the morning that he went missing, came back 4 hours later without him, lied about it, completely changed her story, continues to lie. The other neighbor had posted and said, I'm shocked that I didn't know that Gannon was missing, because he usually plays across the street with the other kids. And if anything ever happens with her kids, she always lets me know. And she never once mentioned to me that Gannon was missing. That would be the first person you would go to. If you know that your kid plays across the street with other kids all the time, wouldn't that be the first place that you would go to see if he was there? But she didn't, because she knew he wasn't there, because she left with him that morning and she came back without him. So she knew he wasn't there. She had no reason to go ahead and walk through the neighborhood and look for him, because she knew she wouldn't find him. She knew he wasn't there. And then stepmom changes her story yet again. As she's being, discussed, for lack of a better word, on social media, she now comes out and says, I have cooperated with the police and I have been participating in lineups, and they have a description of the vehicle and person that Gannon left with that day. What? You just said that you were in the basement with headphones on, working out. Gannon left through a side door at the house to go walk to a friend's house, who you didn't even bother to ask which friend or where they lived or what's the phone number over there, nothing. But you just said this. You just said he left on foot by himself and he hasn't been seen since. What lineups are you participating in? The lineups of the invisible people that don't exist? What description of a vehicle are you talking about and a person? There is no person. There is no vehicle. She had even stated that, and she always refers to Gannon in the past tense, and that is a telltale sign of foul play. But she always refers to him in the past tense, and she said Gannon wasn't old enough to have friends with cars. No, Gannon isn't old enough. And she said Gannon was a good kid. No, Gannon is a good kid, okay? The fact that she constantly refers to him in the past tense it drives me crazy. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know that I'm not. But she does that every time she talks about him. Without fail, she does that every single time that she talks about the boy. Here he is. I want to just zoom into his picture for a moment. Gannon Stauch, 11 years old. Beautiful little boy. Beautiful, beautiful little boy. If you have any legitimate tips, please do call them into the tip line. If you are calling in a hunch, please recognize the fact that that is not an actual tip and allow our law enforcement to utilize their time as best as they can, especially considering that time is obviously of the essence, considering that Gannon has not been seen since the 27th of January. There, that's Gannon right there. Beautiful kid. So again, you know, stepmom she's very suspect at the very least. She has gone on social media and bashed Gannon's real mother, his biological mother. Who does that during a time when your kid is missing? Who does that? Nobody in their right mind would do that. No one. Now, law enforcement has said very little about the details. They have been very quiet about the items that the crime team took from the home. They have not really confirmed anything. They have continuously stated that they do believe that Gannon is alive. And I would like to touch on that for just a moment. Now, I know that everyone has said that stepmom went to Petco the day that Gannon went missing. And she stated that after she got caught, right? She stated that Gannon went with her shopping, but he stayed in the truck because his stomach hurt. Wondering if she didn't have somebody grab him either at Petco or on the side of the road somewhere and drive off with him. I don't know what the motive would be, if it would be for possibly to hurt her husband. I was told that there were marital problems there. I don't know if she was involved in any sort of drug problem or anything like that, although rumor has it that she had had a past with drugs. I don't know if it's true. Did she not have money that she needed? Was she in trouble? Did she use Gannon as a form of collateral? We don't know. We don't know very much at all. I do know that she went back to Petco. She went there twice that day, which is odd to me. Now, I had a couple of theories on this. Pure speculation, of course. One, she had mentioned that Gannon was upset because he thought that they were going to have to sell his Nintendo Switch to pay to repair the carpet. And he played his Nintendo Switch in the car a lot, according to stepmom's mother. Okay? So theory one, was he in the truck? Was Gannon in the truck and stepmom went into Petco? Gannon didn't want to sell the Switch, so he got out of the truck at the Petco and walked off. She comes back to the car or the truck, sees Gannon's not there, drives around to look for him, and when she realizes he's still not there, goes back to Petco to see if maybe he's inside looking for her. I don't believe that's what happened, but it's possible. right? Somebody could have grabbed him then. If that were the case, then why lie about it, right? So again, I don't believe that's what happened, but I am just throwing out some different scenarios. The other thing that I believe could have happened is that she had coordinated some sort of a kidnapping. I don't know, maybe for ransom money, or maybe, again, like I said, maybe she used him as some form of collateral. But maybe somebody grabbed him at the Petco, and maybe she went back to Petco concerned that maybe they got nervous or scared and brought the kid back. Don't know, right? All I know is that when someone is lying about something like this, they're guilty of something. I wholeheartedly still believe that Gannon is alive. And I know it's been 3 weeks, but I believe that he is alive. For one, when stepmom came back from wherever she was, Petco or whatever she was doing, at 2:30, she came back alone, but she was clean. There was nothing, on her to suggest that anything awful had happened. Truck was clean. So there were no clear signs of a vicious crime that had happened on her body or in the truck. Okay, so that leads me to believe that she was wearing the same clothing. Okay, so it's not like something happened, she got blood on her, changed her clothes, got in the truck and went home. The clothing was the same, and she didn't have anything on her. So to me, that suggests that she did not physically harm him that way. And I still just keep leaning toward her having someone else take him, which would coincide with why she waited so long to call police, because she wanted to give them enough time to get far away from the area, right? I don't believe that dogs have picked up on Gannon's scent in this situation either, which is ironic, and that would suggest that he was taken out of the area, right? And since they have been searching that whole area and haven't found a single thing that at least they've told the public about, I can only speculate that somebody took him really far out of the area. If you consider the fact that they live, I think they said it was 40 minutes away from the Petco that she went to, right? And she was gone for just short of 4 hours. And she did go to Petco twice. That doesn't leave a lot of time for her to drive super far away and bring him somewhere. But it does give her plenty of time to meet someone somewhere, have Gannon get in the truck with them, and take off. Stepmom is what's the word? Unemotional. That's the word. She is completely unemotional when it comes to Gannon. She claims that she loves this boy and that she raised him like her own for 2 years, and that she fought to get custody with her husband, which we know is joint custody with Gannon's father and Gannon's mother. And she goes on this tirade about how wonderful she is and how much she took care of him. But okay, he's missing, and I haven't seen you shed a single tear. Not a single tear. I haven't seen her plead for anybody to please bring him home or get out and search, or she's not out, with flyers. She's not doing anything. She's doing nothing. And the only concern she has is that Gannon will come home, so this way people can apologize to her for accusing her of being involved. That smells real bad. That smells real bad. I don't know if the search has been suspended due to weather or due to the fact that they have literally, law enforcement, has literally exhausted their leads in that area. I don't know much. They're not saying much, but the entire thing is shady. And as far as Bio Mom is concerned, Landon, if you're seeing this, I don't even know what to say. My heart is in pieces for you. I have a 5-year-old boy, and I cannot even begin to imagine, nor do I want to, what you must be feeling right now. But just know that there are so many people who are in your corner and praying for you and doing what they can to try and put together this puzzle of Letecia and Gannon, pardon me, to bring him home safely. Again, my heart goes out to you, to Gannon's father and his sister and the rest of your family. And really, there's no words to even say, right? Stepmom, we all know you lied. Law enforcement knows that you lied. If you have nothing to hide, this would be the opportune time to start telling the truth. And if you do have something to hide, this would be the opportune time to start telling the truth. People like this, these narcissistic, sociopathic type of people, they always think that they can get away with a crime. They always think they're smarter than police. They always think they're one step ahead of police. Let me tell you what, that is not the case. Look at how many people are rotting in jail right now and how many people are sitting on death row. And I will say, if she hurt that boy, I hope she is sitting on death row herself, because that's what you deserve. If you didn't and you know where he is, then you need to tell law enforcement how to bring him home safely to his family. Anyhow, those are my thoughts on this case. I know that there has been a lot of conversation online about this case. Please comment on the video, get involved, share your what's the word, theories, I guess, for lack of a better word. Share your thoughts. If you have a legitimate tip, call it into the tip line. Please do not post it on social media. If you post it on social media and it is a legitimate tip, there is a chance that that evidence can be tampered with before law enforcement has a chance to follow through on your tip. Please don't post it until you have reported it and it has been investigated. That being said, please follow Crime 11 on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you again for letting me share my thoughts on the Gannon Stauch case, and my prayers to the family.